Welcome everybody. My name is Laurie. So today we're going to do a sequence to help strengthen and stretch psoas muscle and open up the hips and other things too. So let's just start. Nice tall spine. And if you need to straighten out your legs, you can straighten out your legs. If it hurts your knees, to bend your knees, right? So do what's good for you. So think, are your ears in line with your shoulders, shoulders over ribs, ribs over hips, nice and stacked. And just start to notice your breath. Notice the breath coming in, the breath going out. Don't try to do any special breath, we're just trying to notice what's there. So do you feel your breath in your chest, your nose, your throat, your belly, sides of the body, back? Where are you feeling your breath right now? Is there any rhythm to your breath? Or is it kind of erratic? Maybe you've been running around. So let's work on three-part breath. So starting at the belly, expand the belly all the way around, breathe in through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Let's try that a few times, just centering on the belly and behind and the lower back. Breathing into that space. Breathe in through your nose, expand the belly, exhale through your mouth. Now expand the belly, expand the ribs like fingers wrapping around the back. Breathe in through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Like filling up a pitcher of water halfway now. Now expand the belly, expand the ribs. Breathe into the heart center, breathe in through your nose, and when you exhale through your nose, gently close your mouth. Relax the facial muscles, expand the belly, expand the ribs, breathe into the heart center, breathe in through your nose. When you exhale through your nose, close your mouth. Might feel a little bit of constriction in the back of the throat. If this doesn't feel good, just think, breathe in and out through your nose from your belly to your throat. Breathing is just like anything else. If you need to take a break from it, you just go back to your natural breath. So if you're on the blocks, let's go ahead and come off the blocks. Actually, we're going to go ahead and start. Let's go ahead and start on our feet. I should have started this on our feet, but it's all right. We need to set the breath anyway. And I'm going to face this way. I'm going to face the mirror just so you don't have to reverse things. So starting in a mountain pose, your feet are underneath your hip bones, shoulders over your hips, palms forward, facing your thighs. Go ahead and lift up your toes. Feel the inner outer edges of your feet. Put your toes back down. Grip your toes as long as we're standing. All right? Just take a few breaths here. Arms going out to the sides, palms up. Inhale. Exhale. Palms up. It's too much for your shoulders to go all the way overhead. Just go to where it feels good. Come back down. Feel that energy in the fingers. Feel that connection from the floor, grounding into the earth, all the way to the crown of the head. So go ahead and stay right here. We're going to turn the palm out, right palm out, index finger and thumb touch. Take a breath in. As you take a breath out, we're going to move to the left. Exhale. Now, you can bend your knees if you wanted to. You could bring that left hand down to your hip if you wanted to. We're stretching, lateral stretch to the left. So we're going to try to go directly side as much as you can. That might mean coming up a little bit, right, to do that. And then come on up. We'll switch sides, palm out, left palm out, index finger and thumb touch. Take a breath in, exhale to the right. So if you need to bend your knees, that's fine. If you need to take that right hand to the hip, that's fine. And come on back up. Take a breath in. As you take a breath out, we're just going to come over, reach forward and round over into a forward fold. So knees are bent and we're tucking the chin. Crown of the head goes towards the ground. The hips are high towards the ceiling. The weight is in the balls of the feet. So go ahead and bend those knees and then just come back up with a neutral spine. Inhale. Activate the abs. So we're going to do this about 6 times. We'll go over, exhale, and inhale up. Keeping a nice bend in the knees when you go over and when you come up, right? Very gentle. Follow your breath. Exhale when you come over. Inhale when you come up. A few more times. Follow your breath. One more time. Come on up. Take a breath in. And we'll go over. Exhale to a forward fold. So we're going to bend the left knee and straighten the right leg. So bend the left knee, straighten the right leg. You're going to take your left hand to the outside of the right leg. Right hand comes to your hip. We're going to twist and rotate to the right, starting from the navel, the ribs, chest, shoulders, and then the head. If that feels okay, look over the head. If you want to straighten the arm, you can straighten the arm. So just do what's right for your neck and shoulders, and wherever that feels good. And breathe here for a moment. Left knee bent, right leg straight. And hand back to the hip, and then go ahead and bend both knees a little bit and hang over in a forward fold. And just relax here. Plenty of knee bend. All right, so now we're going to straighten the left leg and bend the right knee. And we're going to take the right hand to the outside of the left calf. And we're going to bring the left hand to the left hip. So we're going to rotate to the left this time. Take a breath in and exhale. Belly, ribs, chest, shoulder, head. And then if you wanted to add the arm, you could. Right knee bent, left leg straight. Left hand on the outside, right hand on the outside of the left leg. And hand back to the hip and back to that forward fold. Bend the knees and come up with a flat back, a neutral spine. Just put the hands behind like you're putting your hands in your back jean pockets. And so what you're going to do is you're just going to lift up from the pubic bone all the way up. Lift, 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 lift. Lifting like someone has a little string. Lifting your chest. Bringing the shoulder blades back towards one another. And breathe. A few deep breaths here. Ground into the earth with your feet. Feel that connection all the way up. Hold the muscles in the neck. Don't want to be in pain, so if anything causes pain, come out of it and let that go. Okay, so let's start. We're going to bring the arms up. We're going to interlace the fingers. We're going to stay here just for about 6 breaths. Now, if that bothers your hands, remember you can take your hands out. You can bring your arms down a little further in front of you if that bothers your shoulders, right? So let's take a few breaths here. Lift the ribs, lengthen the spine. Shoulders down away from your ears, ground into the floor. Big breath. Expand the belly, ribs, chest, breathing through the nose, out through the nose. So we're going to go through some sun salutations. So starting in, if you want to, you could bring your blocks to the front and start mountain pose. So bring the arms up, take a breath in, hands to heart center, take a breath out. So look up at the thumbs. You want to stay right there. If you want to do a little baby back leg, you could. Exhale. Reach forward, bend your knees if you need to. Forward fold, exhale. Hands on your shins, inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Coming back to that plank position, hollow out the front of the body. So we're not going to stay here too long, but we'll hold it for a little bit just to learn about plank. So if you want to come down to your knees, you could. If you want to go to your elbows underneath your shoulders, you could. And let's hold it for about 10 counts here. So looking past the mat, that's 1. Keeping the head in line with the spine. 2, hands are underneath your shoulders and the creases of your elbows face each other. 3, belly button to spine. Lift the pelvic floor. 5, breathe, don't hold your breath. 6, feel the energy from the crown of the head all the way to the tips of the toes. 7, knit your ribs, don't sink in the lower spine or between the shoulder blades. 8, 9, and 10. Come on up to the toes, drop to the knees, hug the body with the elbows, lower to the floor. So we'll do a modified cobra here. We're just going to lift the hands off the ground, lifting the lifting the chest, palms down, elbows back, bringing the shoulder blades towards one another. Breathe in the upper body here. Tighten the butt, press the hips into the ground. And hands underneath the shoulders, push back. You can go to table, you can go to child pose. Which actually, let's do that right now. Just haven't done that yet, so let's go here. So knees wide, big toes together. Set your hips back towards your heels. This is a good pose to come to if I'm doing downward facing dog and that's not great for your shoulders. This is a good pose to come to. So let's go back to, let's go push up to downward facing dog. From table, tuck your toes, hips up and back, down dog. So go ahead, roll through your feet here, stretch your calves. Lift your hips a little bit. So we're pushing back away from the wrist of the forearms, chin towards your chest, chest towards your thighs, heels towards the floor. And let's go ahead and walk your feet in underneath you. Hands on your shins, inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, come up with a flat back inhale. Hands on our center. Let's go again, inhale. Arms overhead, little baby back bend, exhale. Reach forward, inhale. Bend the knees if you need to, forward fold, exhale. Hands on your shins, inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Coming back to that plank position. Again, we're gonna hold it one more time. If you wanted to go to your knees, you could. If you wanted to go to your forearms, you could. Or you can do a full plank and you can lift up your right leg a little bit, about, I don't know, it's about 12 inches, toe pointed down, hips are in line. Hollow out the front of the body. All right, switch legs, left foot comes up, toe pointed down, flex that foot, about 12 inches off the ground. All right, go ahead and bring it down. Go ahead and drop to the knees. Hug the body with the elbows, lower to the floor. So we'll come into cobra this time. Hands underneath the shoulders and lift up the upper body. Don't have to come up very far. Just do whatever's right for you. Shoulders down, elbows hug the body. Hands underneath the shoulders. Go ahead and push back through table, child pose, or down dog. Hips up and back. 5 breaths in and out through your nose, belly to throat. Nice even breath in and out. And also we're externally rotating our shoulders, so point your elbow a little bit more towards the mat to do that. All right, walk your feet underneath you. Hands on your shins, inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, come up with a flat back inhale. Hands to heart center. Take a breath in. Let's go again, inhale. Baby back bend, exhale. Reach forward, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Setting back with that right leg. In a lunge, drop the knee, relax the foot to the floor. So you might have to walk your toes up a little bit forward with that left knee over ankle, right? You want to grab your blocks, stay here for a couple of breaths and stretch that right hip flexor. So slide that right knee back as much as you can for your lunge, knee over ankle. Lift the chest, shoulders over hips. Or if your chest is forward, that's fine, just lengthen the back, right? Lift the chest no matter where you are. All right, step back to your plank position. We're not going to hold it this time. Hollow out the front of the body. Coming up to the toes, drop to the knees. Hug the body with the elbows lower to the floor. Coming up to cobra and push back. Tuck toes, hips up and back, down dog. Give it a few breaths here. In and out through your nose, belly to throat. So go ahead and bring that right foot through to where your hands are. Check your knee ankle alignment, runner's lunge, then drop that left knee down to the ground. Relax the foot, left foot into the floor. You can grab your blocks if you want to, hands underneath your shoulders. Relax the hips down towards the ground. All right, go ahead and shift the weight over that right foot and bring the left foot to meet the right foot. Forward fold, exhale. Hands on your shins, inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, come up with a flat back, inhale. Hands to heart center. Let's do it on the left side. Take a breath in. Arms overhead, exhale. Baby back bend. Reach forward, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Hands on your shins, inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Standing back with that left leg, runner's lunge. Check your knee ankle alignment. Drop that left knee. Relax the left foot into the ground. Blocks underneath your shoulders. Drop the hips down. Check your knee. You really don't want your knee to pass over that toe, so just keep scooching your toes up until you have that line from the knee to the ankle there. All right, step back to your plank position, push-up position, hollow out the front of the body. Not going to hold it this time. Come up to the toes, drop to the knees, hug the body with the elbows lower to the floor, coming up to cobra or up dog. So arms straight but not locked. Tighten the butt to protect the back. Tuck the toes, hips up and back, down dog. Give a few breaths here. In and out through your nose, belly to throat. I didn't say this before, but you can bend your knees with down dog. You can take your legs wider if that feels better. You can put blocks underneath your wrist if it feels too much for the wrist. All right, we're going to bring the left leg through to where your hands are. Help it if you need to. We're in a runner's lunge. Relax the right knee into the floor, right foot into the floor. Grab your blocks underneath your shoulders. Give it a few breaths. All right, shift your weight over that left leg. Bring your right foot to meet your left foot. Forward fold, exhale. Hands on your shins, inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, come out with a flat back inhale. Hands to heart center. All right, so now we're going to do a standing wind release pose. So I'm going to try, if you try bringing your knee towards your chest, right? You can grab behind the leg. You can grab the shin if that feels okay for your knee. And we're lifting nice and long on that standing leg. Now, if you want to, you can do it like this, right? Lift the heel and work on balance. So find that spot that's good for you and find your focal point. Don't look at me. About 3 or 4 feet in front of you. Eye gaze is down. Give it a few breaths. All right, let that go. Shake it out a little bit. Let's try the other side. So if you don't want to go onto a total one balanced leg, balancing on one leg, you can lift the heel, right? Lift the heel and balance that way. Or you can grab behind the leg, or you can grab the shin and bring the knee more towards the chest. So really think nice, tall, long spine. Ground through that standing leg. Find that focal point. That's going to help you more than anything else I could say, is staring at your focal point. Alright, let that go. Shake it out. So, I'm going to do tree pose with arms overhead. So, tree pose also, lift the right heel, turn out the right knee. You could stack the right heel on top of the left ankle, right, and stay there. And that could be your tree pose. If you want to bring the foot below or above the knee, that's fine, just not on the knee. And find your focal point and breathe. Feel the lines of energy going through the floor, out the fingertips, right? Feel the hips opening. And you have to open up that left hip too. If you don't want that left hip to start, if you open up the right knee too much and don't counter open with the left hip, that's not good for the knee, right? So think about those things. You're not trying to hold the energy or lock it down. You're trying to help it move through you. Let that go. Shake it out. Let's try the other side. So you can lift the heel, left heel, turn out the left knee, stack the left heel on top of the right ankle, right? And stay here. Anytime you start to flail, come back here too. So you can bring your foot below or above the knee, but not on the knee. So think about belly button to spine, activating those Kegel muscles, the muscles that cut off your urn. These are going to help you with balance. Gripping your toes. It's going to help you. Focusing on the focal point. Feeling light and strong at the same time. Remember, micro bend in the knee. You don't want to lock out the standing leg. Bring it down, shake it out. Alright, so we're going to do one-legged revolved pose from a mountain position. So this one, you can lift the right heel, right? We're in mountain pose. Lift the right heel. You can take that left hand to the outside of the thigh, right hand on the hip, and we're going to rotate to the right. So you don't ever have to lift the foot totally off the floor. You can just lift the heel off the floor, right? The hips are staying straight forward. We're rotating from the belly up. Now, if you want to bring the knee up, you could bring the knee up, right? If you want to bring the arms out, you could bring the arms out. And left arm would be forward, right arm would be back, twisting to the right. But the hips and everything are facing forward with the right knee up and a right ankle. Shake it out and try the other side. So this is a really good way to get into it, and you can stay there if you want to. So lift the left heel, and we're going to twist to, excuse for me to, and we're going to twist to the left, right? The hips stay forward. You can bring the arms out if you wanted to, right? If you want to lift up the knee, you can bring the knee up. But the lower part of the body is parallel, left knee up at a right angle, and then you're twisting to the left with the upper body. Find that focal point on the left side that you can look at, right? So you can maintain your balance. Try not to hike up the hips stay even. Come on back down. so now we're going to do a chair pose. So go ahead and bend your knees. If you wanted to stay in chair and not twist, you don't have to. You could just, the hips go back, so the toes are pointed forward, hips go back, chest is lifted, shoulders down. You can have your hands on your thighs if you wanted to. If you want to bring your hands to heart center, that's fine too. We're going to revolve to the right. So you could bring the left elbow to the inside of the right knee and twist to the right. Make sure, check your knees, to make sure your knees aren't, one knee is not jutting out. You want to take the elbow to the outside of the right knee, you can do that too. But check your knees. Knees in line. So that's kind of your guideline there. If you can't keep your knees in line, you need to lessen the twist. Breathe. Check your knees. Make sure one's not sticking out. And then we'll come on up. Let it go for a second. So we're in mountain pose. Toes are pointed forward. We go into our chair. Start with the palms on your hands on your thighs. And then if you want to, hands to heart center. If you want to twist to the left, you could bring the right elbow to the inside of the left knee, or you can bring the right elbow to the outside of the left knee. But make sure that your knees are in line, so one knee's not poking out and your hips aren't. Everything in the hips all stay the same, stable. Everything, the twist is happening from the waist up. Revolved chair to the left. All right, back to center. Come on up, shake it out. Yeah, take a drink of water if you need a drink of water. A good idea. Maybe you want to take, for this next part, let's take our mats the other direction here. Straight on, but alright, so we're taking our legs wide first for wide stance. So the legs are wide, and feel the inner outer edges of your feet. Your hands are on your hips. And go ahead, if you want to bend your knees a little bit, bend your knees. We're going to go over to a wide forward fold. So hinge from the hips and then come over. So once you get over, you might be able to open the legs up a little bit wider, pin and toe the toes a little bit, and stay here. So the crown of the head is going towards the ground. The hips are high. Like I said, if you need to bend those knees, bend your knees. You can still do everything you need to do with bent knees. So the hands are underneath the shoulders, elbows bent. So give this a few breaths. All right, go ahead and bend your knees and bring your hands to your hips and come up with a flat back inhale. So walk those feet in a little bit. So we're still in a pretty nice wide stance. We're going to go into triangle. So we're going to turn out that right leg to the right. So see, if your stance is too wide, fix your legs a little bit. So we're going to turn that back foot's going to be turned in just a little bit, so it's not totally facing straight on. Right foot is turned out to the right. So we're going to go into triangle pose. So let's go. If you need to bend your knee with triangle pose, you can. So we're going to lift up that left arm, take a breath in, and then come on over. So the hip kind of comes forward a little bit, and then windmill to your triangle. So again, if you want to bend that right knee for triangle, you could check your alignment. You could look at yourself in that right mirror and see, how you look. You want to try to stack the joints, so you might have to come up a little bit to pull that left side back. Line up those left ribs with those right ribs, right? If you need to bend your knee, you can bend your knee too. Activate the abs to come up. Go ahead and bend that right knee. So let's just do a little flow here. Bend and straighten in warrior two. So we're looking over that right arm. Heels are lined up as best we can. And then we'll go ahead and stay here in warrior two. So give it about 6 breaths. Shoulders over hips. So we're not reaching over that front leg, right? Right knee's bent, left leg straight. Push it in the back into that back foot. Good, bend elbow to knee, and we'll go into side angle. Starting with your left hand at your head, reach up towards the sky. You can keep it there if you wanted to, or reach next to your ear, depending on what your neck and shoulders feel like today. So if you want to get more into an ab work, you can take that arm off, palm up, right, for your side angle if you wanted to. And activate the abs to come up. And we're going to bring it up to a reverse warrior, looking up at the palm. Right shoulder forward, left shoulder back. Pinch your ribs in the front. So you can stay here, reaching straight up, looking at the palm. If you want to go more into a side stretch, you reach back and bend more into the right knee. And coming back up to warrior 2. Go ahead and turn the toes forward again. And let's just stretch that out. Let's bring, we're going to do a little twist. We'll go back down to that wide forward fold. So bend your knees and come over to a wide forward fold again. And hands underneath your shoulders. Bend your elbows. Crown of the head goes towards the ground, hips are high. Remember, you can bend the knees if you want to. Grip your toes. Feel the outer edges of your feet. So let's just open to the right. So left hand into center, and we're going to just open up that right arm, reach it overhead. Inhale. Exhale back to center. So the hips, everything stays aligned. Just opening up from the waist up to the left. Inhale. Exhale back to center. Let's do that again. Open up to the right. Take a breath in. Exhale back to center. Left side. Open to the left. Remember, it starts from the belly and then back to center. So let's go ahead and bend those knees. Hands on your hips. Come up with a flat back. Inhale. All right, so walk those feet in a little bit. So the feet are wide still, but we're just going to turn out that left foot to the left. Back foot's going to need to turn in a little bit, so it's not totally 90 degrees. It's going to be a little bit pigeon-toed. So you can turn that hip down, and you can keep that knee over that left ankle. So now we're facing the left, doing warrior 2 to the left. Arms over legs, looking over that left arm. Strong warriors. Grip your toes, feel the inner outer edges of your feet. Breathe. Shoulders down away from your ears. Go ahead and go into a little bit of a flow if you want to. Bend the knee and then straighten. So when you bend, you exhale. Inhale when you straighten. Find that flow of your breath to follow. Go ahead and stay here, and elbow to knee or hand to thigh, moving into side angle. So right hand starts at your hip, reach up towards the sky and over towards your ear if you want. So we're trying to avoid this. So make sure you're pulling that right shoulder back. If you need to come up hand on thigh to really pull that right side back, do that, right? Get the alignment where it needs to be. All right, coming up, bring that left arm up, reverse warrior, looking up at the palm. So left shoulder forward, right shoulder back. Knit your ribs in the front here. And you can stay right here, reaching up, up, up. Left shoulder forward, right shoulder back. Or you can go into that side stretch a little bit more by bending the front knee and reaching back. And coming back to warrior 2. So we'll straighten the legs and do triangle, which we wiggle the hips a little bit. Send that right hip a little bit towards the front mirror there. Reach, 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 and then windmill down to your triangle. So we're trying to stack the shoulders. That might mean we have to come up the leg a little bit to do that. We can bend the front knee, left knee if we wanted to. Help it make it more accessible. Activate the abs to come up. And then we'll just turn that left toe forward. So we're in a wide stance facing front now. Let's go back into that wide forward fold. Bend your knees. Come over with a flat back. Wide forward fold. Stretch here for a moment. Breathe. Notice where you feel tightness and breathe into that space. You need to bend and straighten your legs a little bit. Do what your body wants you to do. So we're going to bring that right hand to the center of the mat. We'll open up to the left. Inhale. Reach that left arm overhead, and then left hand comes back to the center of the mat. And then open up the right arm up, and everything's happening from the waist up. And then the right hand comes back to center. Open up to the left, twist to the left, inhale. Exhale back to center, and twist to the right, inhale. And coming back to center. So walk the toes in a little bit, and bend the knees, bring the hands to the hips, and come up with a flat back. And walk the toes in. Let's just come over, just hang over, forward fold here, grab the elbows, do a little ragdoll stretch, and come on down to the right. Oh, we did balance. We balanced enough for you guys today? Yeah. Seems like there's a lot of balancing, I don't know. Come on down. You feel it more in the around the hips and everything, what we did? I definitely do. There was a little bit more on that sequence, but I kind of messed up, so I didn't want to go back and try to fit it in. So we're not going to worry about that then. So, let's go, let's do some ab work. But first, let's just do a forward fold over. Exhale. So a seated forward fold. If you want to bend your knees, you could bend your knees and grab your feet or grab anywhere along the leg. And try to snuggle your chest up against your thigh here. Stretch your lower back. Toes pointed towards the ceiling. As much knee bend as you need or want here. And after a while, maybe you could straighten the legs out a little bit more, get a little bit deeper. That'll affect more of the hamstrings too. But if it's too much for the lower back, bend those knees, right? And let that go. And let's stretch. Go ahead and let's bring the legs back. Let's if you want to take your blocks, we're going to sit in, it's called hero pose. So we're sitting on our heels, and we're going to bring the blocks back. I'm just going to stretch the front of the body. So bring the blocks back a little bit back from your feet. Your hands are pointed towards your knees. Your fingers are pointed towards your knees. And you're just going to lift up and press forward with your body. Squeeze your butt, press your hips forward. Stretch that front of the hip flexors and the thighs. And the whole chest too. We're opening up the whole front of the body. And come on back down for a second. And when you're ready, take a breath in, push the body up, push the hips forward. And if that's too intense, you can come up onto your knees for camel pose, right? Because that is a form of camel. So this camel pose, you're up on your knees, your hands are in your back pockets, and you feel like you're lifting up. You keep those hips over knees. Lift your chest. Open the chest hard towards the sky. Tighten the butt. Don't, if you feel any pinching, anything doesn't feel good, come out of it. And let that go. And let's do child pose. Big toes together, knees are wide, and set your hips back toward your heels for child pose here. Let that go. And let's do a couple of hip stretches here. So let's do I think it's called deer pose. So you bend the front knee and you bend the back leg, and the right heel is towards your groin, and you point your back toe so the back foot isn't flexed, right? So then you're just going to lay on the inside of the left knee. And just feel the inward and outward rotation, you know, the inward rotation of that right leg, outward rotation of the hips on that left side. This is reclined deer pose. So we're going to advance this to a pigeon pose on this side. So you could stay here if you wanted to, and just you could stay here, and you have that, you know, that left knee bent going towards the left, and then right knee bent. If you want to stay here, you could also straighten the leg back if you wanted to, and to a pigeon pose. So the toe is turned down towards the floor, the hip is turned down, and then we go to the inside of that leg. Now you might need to block your hip, and if you need to block, you're going to block on the left side. So put the block underneath the left hip, and then that'll make your hips even out a little bit more and make it, you'll really feel a nice stretch in your hip flexors. So just see if you need it or not, right? Kind of in a weird position, but so just block your left hip if you, that makes it easier for you to extend that right leg back. Can you feel that stretch right there? Is it, feel it better with the block, or no? Are you extending that back right leg? No. Or you got it bent? Go ahead and extend that leg, that right leg back straight. No, not good. If you have that back leg straight, you feel. Well, maybe you should go ahead and straighten the back leg. You feel it better with the back leg without the block, or do you feel a stretch in your right hip flexor, right here? The front of the hip. Okay, and that's it. That's what you're working for. That's it. Sometimes this pose, I know pigeon, reclined pigeon pose, you have to work with it a little bit, and you have to kind of try different positions to try to, basically we're just trying to open the front of the hip or open up the back, you know, all around the groin. All right, so let's go ahead and hands underneath your shoulders, coming up belly, ribs, chest, chin, and then let's go ahead and try that on the other side. So we'll do deer pose first. So you're bending that right knee towards the right corner of your mat. You're bending the left leg back behind you, and you're pointing that left toe. So we're just gonna, once you get in this position, you can stay here if this feels like that's enough. Stay here and feel the hips, or you can come to the inside of that right knee. So that right knee, though, yeah, you want to point it out, you know, towards the right corner of the mat. And like I said, feel any pain in your knees or whatever, come up, ask me, I'll come over and work with you if you feel like something's not right. Feel the inward rotation of that left hip and the external rotation of that right hip. So hands underneath your shoulders, come on up, belly, ribs, chest, chin. So here you're all in the position ready to go for pigeon. If you want to straighten that back, straighten that left leg back. Now, if you want to, you can take your block and block that right hip. If it feels like your hips are just too uneven and it doesn't feel right, then block the right hip. And you can come over. Sometimes it's a little bit harder to come over with those big blocks, but you can. You know, you can, and you're just going to turn that left hip either with a block or without a block. Once you get in this position where you're forward, you're going to try to take that left hip and kind of rotate it down towards the ground a little bit. And you can use your hands out in front of you, kind of push into your hands to help you to rotate the left hip a little bit more towards the ground. Just to get that a little bit deeper stretch. If you need it, if you don't need it, just stay where you are and breathe. Any of these places that feel good, you can just stay there and hang out and breathe.
You don't have to try everything, but you want to too, but you feel good, and you're like, I just want to stay here and stretch. That's what you do. Listen to your body, it'll tell you what you need. Alright, hands underneath your shoulders, coming up, belly, ribs, chest, chin, and then roll over to your right side to come out of that. So let's go ahead and do a seated twist. So, actually, let's not do a seated twist yet because we just did that. So let's go down to our backs. So come on down to our backs. Have your strap and have a block next to you. And just stay here on your back for a second. Get used to being on your back. And just try to relax, soften the body into the floor, into the earth. Notice your breath. Don't try to do any special breath. Just notice where you feel your breath. Take your strap, and we're going to strap the balls of our feet over our hips. So, and we're also going to take our block and put it on our right hip. So just stay here. You got your ankles over your hips and the legs are straight, legs up the wall here with the strap. Now, if you can't straighten your legs over your hips, then you want to straighten your legs on this one. So you can take your feet away from the body, and then you'll be able to straighten your hips. So it's either over the hips or it's away from the body, and then you'll be able to straighten the legs. So either one. Just do what's right for you. So let's stay here for a moment. Notice any tight places. If you need to breathe into a tight place, just soften, let go. This is a really good pose for really stretching out the whole back of the body. I probably don't have to tell you that. Alright, so we're going to take the left leg out of the strap. So take your left leg out of the strap. You could keep your knee bent, foot flat on the floor, or you could straighten your left leg, and flex your foot. We're going to take the strap in the left hand. We're going to bring the right hand out to the side in a T, palm down. So we're just going to cross that right ankle over left hip for an inward stretch of the hip. So just think right ankle over left hip. We've got the straps in the left hand, right arms out to a T, palm down. You want to keep that right hip, right shoulder on the ground. All right, let that go. We're going to take the straps in the right hand, and the left hand's going to come out to the side. And we're going to open up, got that block to our right hip. We're going to open up the right leg out to the right. And you can look over at your left hand, palm down. Get a little neck stretch. Flexing that left foot. Keeping that whole left side nice and strong. And bend that knee and bring it in. And we're going to go ahead and do an abdominal twist stretch. So we're going to take that bend that right knee, take your arms out to a T, palms down. Bend your right knee, bring the right big toe to the inside of the left knee. So right big toe to the inside of the left knee. Take a breath in. As you take a breath out, you're going to cross your right knee over your left leg, and you're going to look over at your right hand. Abdominal twist. So the right hip comes off the ground, the right knee crosses over the left leg. And you're not trying to force anything. The only thing you're trying to do is hold the shoulders, keep the shoulders down on the ground. The left knee is suspended up in space there. You're just getting a gentle abdominal twist. Breathe into the belly, breathe into the back, breathe into wherever you feel it. If you're having a hard time keeping your big toe on the inside of your knee, you can always let that right foot sort of float in front of the left knee and just sort of hang there. That feels okay for your lower back. legs and let your back reset. Soften, release into the earth. Go ahead and grab your strap again and strap your feet over your hips, legs up the wall with the strap. So if you want to, go ahead and bring your block back over on the left hip this time. And legs are over your hips, straight legs over your hips. Now if you can't straighten your legs over your hips, you're just going to move the feet away from the body a little bit, and then you'll be able to straighten your legs. So we're going to take the right leg out of the strap this time. And you can straighten it or you can keep the knee bent, foot flat on the floor. We're going to take the left hand out to the side, palm down. And we're going to cross that left ankle in line with the right hip. So it's an inward stretch, inward rotation of that hip on the left side. So line up your left ankle over your right hip. And you can look over at your left hand. And then let that go. Go ahead and take the straps in the left hand. Right hand comes out to the side, palm down. You got that block on your left hip. You got your block on your left hip. We're going to open up the leg out to the left and flex those left toes. And look over at your right hand, palm down. Flexing both feet, flexing the left, right side too. Toes pointing towards the ceiling. Breathe into the tight places. Bend that knee, bring it in, and go bring your knees to your chest for a second and rock a little bit. And then we're going to extend the legs long again. And we're going to bring that left knee up and bring the left knee up, foot flat on the floor. We're going to take the left big toe to the inside of the right knee. So left big toe, stick it on the inside of the right knee. Take a breath in. As you take a breath out, we're going to cross the left over the right leg, looking over the left hand. Abdominal twist. Twisting to the left. Right knee, left knee goes over right leg. Left hip comes up. Looking over that left hand, keeping the shoulders on the ground. Breathing into the tight places. If you wanted to, you could let that left big toe just kind of fall in front of the right knee and just let it, if that feels okay for your back, right? Yeah, it has to feel okay for your back. And let that go. And go ahead and straighten the legs, let the back settle. Bring the knees up and rock a little bit, stretch your back. If you wanted to bring your head up towards your knees, you could do that too. Make a little ball. Stretch in the upper back too. And let that go. Let's do one more pose before we, let's do a reclined bound angle pose. So if you wanted to, you can, we're going to bring the soles of the feet, we're laying on our back, we're going to bring the soles of the feet up towards our groin. And if you wanted to, you could block underneath your thighs and just let the back relax into the ground and let the hips open. So recline, bound, angle pose. You don't have to use the blocks if you don't want to, but just let gravity open up the hips, but just see if that feels okay for the lower back. Bring the knees together. together, help yourself, and then straighten the legs out for Savasana. So we're going to take the legs wider than your hips. Let your feet fall out to the side. Tuck your shoulders underneath you. Palms are up about 45 degrees from your thighs. And really take a deep breath in and a big sigh just to release the body into the ground. Now, if this doesn't feel good for your lower back to have your legs straight, you can bring the legs up, knees up, pigeon toe your toes, let your knees fall together, and that'll help the lower back stay towards the ground. And you can relax in a nice aligned position. So find that place where you can be relaxed and aligned. Noticing your breath. Not trying to do any special breath, but noticing going back to our natural breath. Now that we've moved the breath for this hour, probably we can breathe more into the belly. But just a natural breath. With each exhale, softening into the ground a little more. Letting go a little bit more. Relaxing your facial muscles, your jaw. Releasing the shoulders, upper back, middle back, hips into the ground. Relaxing your whole right leg. Top of the foot. Bottom of the foot, the ankle, relaxing your right big toe, or noticing your right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and fifth toe. Relaxing your whole left leg, noticing the top of the foot, the bottom of the foot, and the ankle. Noticing your left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe. If you're thinking about the next thing you're going to do today, maybe breathe between the eyebrows. Help to calm the mind a little bit. Between the eyebrows, a little bit above between the eyebrows, breathe into that space to help calm your thoughts. Give them less importance. Go ahead and bring a little movement back to your fingers and your toes. Circle your ankles and wrists, any movement that feels good to you. You reach overhead, stretch long. When you're ready, bring your knees up towards your chest and rock a little bit. And then rock over to the right or to the left in the fetal position. Stay there for a couple of breaths before you come up. And if you're up, bring your arms overhead. If you're still down, take your time getting up. That's the heart center. Exhale. Thank you guys for sharing your practice with me today.